Good afternoon. Thank everyone for being here. I call this meeting to order. Clerk Bonner. Madam Clerk, are we ready? Earlier.
Call your attention to our, okay, we'll let them be seated first.
Who's district?
Okay. We will call your attention to the invocation portion of our agenda, which will be delivered to us today by the Reverend Clarence Moore, pastor of the Good Shepherd Baptist Church, after which we would like to ask Westside if they will please stand and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Please stand.
Let us pray. O Lord our God, how excellent is your name in all of the earth. And we come now, Father, asking your blessings upon our mayor and commissioners who have been called to lead this community in which we live, work, and play. Grant them the wisdom and courage to know and to do what is right and good for this community. Give them a spirit of unity. Help them to listen to each other, and as they share their point of view, let them speak when it is time to speak in a spirit that will glorify you. Let them work as a team to do what is best for this Richmond County. May they be guided by the spirit of justice and love. May they remember that no matter where we live, we all make up Richmond County. Let the decisions that they make be based upon your wisdom. Let their plans be organized by you. And Father, let your will be done in this meeting so that this can be a meeting that is based upon your desires. Whatever it is that you want the results for this meeting to be, Lord, we pray that you will let it happen. For it is in your Son, Jesus' name, we do pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend Moore. Reverend Moore, it's always a pleasure to have you join us and pray on our behalf. We know that God heard that prayer, and we take it to heart. And thank you again for coming and sharing and blessing us with your priestly presence today. By these presents be it known that Clarence Moore, pastor of the Good Shepherd Baptist Church, is chaplain of the day. May his spiritual guidance and civic leadership serve as an example for all citizens of Augusta, given under my hand this 16th day of May, 2023, Garnett L. Johnson, Mayor. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Reverend Moore, we certainly appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. Westside, thank you for leading us in that Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, let's continue.
Yes, sir. We have an addition to today's agenda, which is the Westside High School, recognition of the Westside High School Patriots men's varsity basketball team, 2022-23 Georgia High School Association State Basketball Champion, Class 2A, double A.
Double A.
Double A. So we have unanimous consent to add this? Okay. Okay.
All right, no objections. Let's continue.
Mr. Mayor, would you, along with Commissioner Bobby Williams, please come front, please?
You got it.
As we proceed with the recognitions. Firefighters?
You doing west side or firefighters?
Hmm?
Are you doing west side or firefighters?
West Side.
Okay, that's my district.
Okay, yeah, okay. Come on. At this time, Mr. Mayor and please come forward to receive your recognition, team members. Thank you. Dan? And before Dan gets started, let me just read the recognition. The Office of the Mayor, the Augusta Commission, Certificate of Recognition given to the Patriots men varsity basketball team for your outstanding achievement and excellent sportsmanship displayed during the 2023 basketball season by posting a 25-7 final record. The City of Augusta recognizes your commitment to athletic excellence and congratulates you for participating and clinching the state title for the second year in a row in the 2023 Class 2A Georgia High School Association State Basketball Championship in an 89-81 victory over Providence Christian Academy at the Macon Coliseum in Macon, Georgia, March 9th, 2023. Office of the Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas Westside High School, public school located in Augusta, Georgia, the mission is to provide a safe environment and caring atmosphere in which all students can and will learn while becoming respectful, productive citizens. Westside is dedicated to the ongoing professional development, extensive and effective use of data to improve teaching and learning, personalized college planning and preparation, and work that supports the philosophy. And whereas Westside Athletics is focused on the physical and emotional well-being of their students, athletes, and rooted in sportsmanship and personal accountability. The Westside High School Athletic Department supports and emphasizes the academic, athlete, and social growth of our students as leaders both on the field and in the classroom, while emphasizing the diversity of our school community and fostering a respectful culture that celebrates those differences so to achieve great success. And whereas the Westside Patriots successfully defended their title March 9, 2023 by defeating Providence Christian Academy. Whereas for the second year in a row, they are named the 2AA state champions in basketball. This team has been dedicated for multiple seasons, and they are leading all other teams by example. Now, therefore, it be resolved that Garnett L. Johnson, Mayor of the City of Augusta, do hereby proclaim March 9th as Westside High School Boys Varsity Basketball Day. Thank you. Now, Dan, I turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, and thank you to Mayor Johnson and everybody else here from the City of Augusta who gave me the chance to be here today. This is awesome, and I have to say that I've had the chance to cover some really cool teams over the years, but this back-to-back state championship team from Westside is easily up there for me. It was so much fun covering them, the energy, and everything else this team brought to the table throughout the year, and I was fortunate enough to be on the sideline during that state championship game, and in addition to just how crazy of a game that was, my anxiety was going through the roof, and I wasn't even on the court. So I think it kind of provides context to how everything went during overtime and this team's ability to never give up, even though they were down by as many as 11 during the second half of this game. So it was a really special moment and a really special team, to say the least. So once again, thank you, and I guess without any further ado, let's get this rolling. So to get it going, Jalix Ewing. Jarius Atkinson. Let me see. Adrian Jones. Is he here? Not here today? I think he's here. I think he is out today. We have Zion Briggs. With 36 points in the state championship game, Amari Tillman. Dontrell Jackson. Bobby Blackwell. Kiori Atwell. Kaylon Hudson. Javon Webb. Jay Ambrose. Karsten Bryant. And Charles Sims. With his third state championship as a head basketball coach in Augusta, Jerry Hunter. Assistant coach Shiloh Robinson. And assistant coach Ethan Taylor.
Here you go. Yes, ma'am.
There you go. You got people still taking pictures. She's still taking pictures. I'm gonna present it to them in just a sec. Guys, thank y'all for being here today. I know this is round two, but on behalf of the mayor's office, to the two-time state champion, Westside Patriots, keep up the great work. Have a great summer. We're looking forward to next year. Thank y'all so much.
Just a moment before you leave, former Commissioner Moses Todd would like to make a presentation to the team.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, on behalf of my business manager, Secretary Treasurer Bill Wright, which couldn't be here today, he's in North Carolina in a meeting, and my president Ross Smith and the membership of Augusta Plumbers and Steam Fitters, would like to present the athletic department with a check for $500. And we done the same for Josie and Cross Creek, and somehow we missed you last year, so I'm gonna get an additional $500 check for last year.
Great job. Daniel, before you leave, we have a token of appreciation for you for coming in and hosting this team today with the roll call. Thank you so much, and thank you for your enthusiasm and your support of this team. I really felt that it all came from your heart, and we really appreciate you coming and being with us today. Thank you.
Coach, would you like to say anything?
Hold up, just
Hold on, we're going to get you a mic, Coach. There we go.
Here you go.
First of all, on behalf of us and the guys, as well as our administrator, Dr. Milton, we want to say thank you. And with so much going on in our community at this time, to celebrate young men doing something positive, that's important. So it's a delight for them to see and be welcomed and appreciated. But more so important, when we go places, we're representing the city of Augusta. And our last 3 games in the tournament were against teams from Atlanta. So you know how Atlanta feels about Augusta. So I said we was representing something a little bit bigger than us, and we still are representing something bigger than us. So we got to find ways to celebrate these young men and move forward. And I'm trying to gather some coaches together so we can do our part in the community as well, since we see kids from the recreation level to the high school level, and we'll come down here and talk about some of our ideas in terms of trying to help change the community. So thank you for inviting us in.
Thank you. Guys, thank you again for being here. Now, you're more than welcome to hang around for this commission meeting, but we certainly understand if you got, more important things to do, like practice. We're going to give you guys a minute to get a workout. There you go. All right. Thank y'all again, and we appreciate y'all being here. All right, you got it. Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
I don't think our
All
phones
right.
are. Well, the phones aren't working.
All right, for those of you standing, now we have some seats available in the front. If there's anyone that wants to have a seat, there are seats available in the front. Madam Clerk?
Richard Johnson is wanting to phone in, however, our system is down. So Administrator Dowse is going to get him on her phone.
Okay. He wants to.
I have no idea, sir. I just got the message.
You just hit call and put it at your microphone. Is that how you want to do it? No? Yes? Did you want to have this microphone beside it? Look, I was trying to get it at yours.
Is he outside of the county?
Are you here, Commissioner?
They just brought this to me.
Is that the rule? We got to be outside the county?
Did you want to ask him his location?
Commissioner Johnson. Hold on just a moment. We're having technical difficulties today. You there, sir? Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, let's continue.
Our next recognition, item number A, and we'd like to offer our congratulations to our April 2023 Employee of the Month. I'm sorry.
I knew what you meant, Ms. Bonner. Good afternoon, Mayor Johnson, Commissioners, Interim Administrator, and guests of the City of Augusta. Today, our HR department is proud to acknowledge our April Years of Service recipients. For the month of April 2023, we have 27 employees celebrating 5 to 50 years of service with Augusta. This afternoon, we would like to recognize our 25 to 50 years of service. For the month of April, the total years of service and institutional knowledge being celebrated today is 350 years. So when I call your name, please come forward. Douglas Stacy, the Marshal's Office, 25 years. Mr. Sean Newsom, Sheriff's Office, 25 years. Congratulations to all of our years of service recipients.
Be prepared. Item B, our presentation is a presentation from the Augusta Fire Department to Patrick Broom and Tate Williams for their outstanding initiative, courage, and heroism in rescuing an elderly gentleman from a car that was submerged in the Savannah River on May 7th, requested by Commissioner Bobby Williams. Chief.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. The Augusta Fire Department created this Local Heroes program as a way to honor our community for those acts of heroism and bravery. Unfortunately, Mr. Broom and young Miss Tate was not able to join us today, so we'd like to request to move this to the next commission cycle where we hopefully can have them come before us and be recognized.
Thank you, Chief. Commissioner Bobby Williams, this is your item. Is that good?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, let's just move it, 2 weeks from now?
All right.
That'll be good.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, let's continue.
Item C, recognition of the National Small Business Week.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Next, our delegation, under the delegation portion of our agenda, Mr. David Anderson regarding medical cannabis dispensary, Augusta location.
Good day, Ms. Anderson. Welcome. If you will, for the record, please state your name and address.
Absolutely. Thank you. David Anderson's actually here with me. My name is Chase Bradshaw. I am the COO for Botanical Sciences. First off, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and the City of Augusta for this opportunity today to be here to speak to you on behalf of our company.
Still need your address, sir.
What's that, sir?
Your address.
Oh, address. My facility is 442 Cecil Anderson Road in Glenville, Georgia. And then we also have a location working on here, hoping to get this wonderful city's approval on at 120 Sherwood Drive.
Personal address? Is that business? We need your personal address.
Personal address is
Yes,
1005 East Hencart Road. I appreciate it. But again, I want to thank you for this opportunity today to be here to speak on behalf of our company. little bit about us. You know, Botanical Sciences, we're a physician-founded, physician-owned company. We're here because we're dedicated to delivering hope and relief to the patients that have been desperately in need since 2015. We want to make sure that we're here to exemplify ourselves, be great stewards of the community, and be the leaders that this industry definitely needs as it constantly is evolving. I know there's a lot of misconceptions about it and the way that these businesses look, and we want to reassure you that that is not the intentions of us. We treat this just like it is intended to be, medicine. It is a medical facility with the medical needs of the patients first and foremost. With our opportunities here in the city of Augusta, we also have a partnership currently with Payne College, working closely with, excuse me one second, working closely with Cheryl Evans-Jones and Michael Thurman. We currently have it set up with a scholarship program and employment opportunities for the university as well. We're not just a business who's wanting to be here. The industry and the locations we're choosing, we've vetted very thoroughly to make sure that we have this relationship with y'all as we grow. We want to be an open door policy. We want to make sure that we exemplify ourselves and what y'all want out of us as well. Currently, right now, the state projects that it could be anywhere between 2 to 5% of the patients, of qualifying patients in the state. Based off population here in Augusta, that could be upwards of 15,000 people who are going to need access. And so that's what we're here for, is to show you who we are to you, show that we're here to do this the right way, and show that this is a relationship that we want to build on with you, with the dedication of our entire team. I have David Anderson, who is here. He's our VP of Finance. Ron Williams, he's my formulation specialist. Unbelievable guy. He's been with me now for 7 years. And we're a big family just like y'all are here too as well. And we also brought some materials that we wanted to leave behind to show you who we are, what our intentions are for revitalizing this location that we currently have found, and ensure you that, again, we are the utmost leaders and professionals in this industry, and we're going to strive to do that no matter what.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, do you have enough for this entire commission? Do you have 11 of those, or at least 9 of them?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
You can hand them out if you like.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll let you. So if you guys would, come up for the record, state your name and address. So, Mr. Anderson, I think you requested this.
David Anderson, 4355 Gimlin Circle, Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you, sir.
Ronald Williams, 525 Sylvester Asher Drive, Glenville, Georgia.
Thank you, sir. All right, I have a few. I have one person in the queue for my colleague, so there may be there is a question. Chair recognizes a commissioner from the 6th, Commissioner Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Bradshaw, first I want to thank you all for taking your time to come before this body on today. I had an opportunity to visit your establishment in Glenville, Georgia back in January, I think that time frame, when Montel Williams was there. Had an opportunity to tour the facility and to look at the proposed operations of said facility, and I was very impressed. And I know that there is a need, a medical need for this particular product that you guys are trying to bring here. But I do have a few questions. I understand that you are going to be partnering with Payne College, and that just makes me gleam because I'm a graduate of Payne College, and I know how important partnering with Payne College is with any entity that's going to help provide some sustainability and some economic relief to Payne College. But what I did not hear you say was what would be the economic impact or the revenues generated by your company on an annual basis here in Augusta, Georgia? And if you could answer that question. And my second question is, what would be the minority participation in your company as you seek to come here to do business in the Augusta area? So if you can answer those questions for me, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. For the finance side, I'm going to let David Anderson answer your questions on that, and then.
Sure. The economic impact that it will have on Augusta, again, there'll be upwards to 15,000 patients here in Augusta. The way that the state has it is that there will be sales tax on that. So the sales tax obviously goes into the general account, I guess you would say. As for the economic value or anything that we have with Payne College, obviously there's scholarships that we're doing with them and work programs with them as well. There is a number of different opportunities, I guess, as we come and as we partner with Augusta and local businesses in Augusta. Currently, our business, to give you the minority ownership of our company as a whole, is above 20%. And we have a dedication to Georgia that between 20 and 35% of all of our spend for contracting, constructing throughout Georgia is through minority-owned businesses, MBEs through the GM MSDC.
Okay, haven't heard that. Thank you. What's the projected revenue for this dispensary annually?
Annually, it will be upwards to $1 to $2 million.
1 to 2 million. And what would we say, Mr. Bradshaw, what would we say that Payne College would receive? I understand the scholarship. Can you give me the total in a dollar value that Payne College would be receiving?
I actually have that answer too. So we just gave them a $25,000 scholarship as we're waiting for the state to allow us to grow. And we're doing upwards to $500,000 to $1 million as time goes on in the next 5 years.
$500,000 to $1 million?
Yes, sir.
So this partnership with Payne, is it something that they can look forward to receiving on an annual basis, or this is just a one-time, as long as you're here, Payne College will be the recipient?
Yes, sir.
It's a partnership.
Yes, sir. And we even talked recently with with Dr. Gabriel Swinson there too as well, because as we've all seen how quickly this industry's evolved nationally, there's still so much lacking information, especially from an educational standpoint. And so we've already been working on different case studies that we're going to jointly work on together with the undergrad department and help fill those gaps to make sure that all the educational information that has been lacking is available to the public, not only here in Augusta, Georgia, but nationally. And that's, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to with that partnership is the educational value. I've been doing this 14 years now, and I've never seen anything like this before. The way Georgia has structured it is truly one of a kind, and it's such a great opportunity for us to be a part of collectively all the communities of the state of Georgia. I've been living here now 2 years, and I feel like I finally found home. So it's been outstanding, and like I said earlier, this is a relationship. This is a partnership. This isn't a business just trying to set up shop here. Whatever's needed from us for the community, even with the basketball team, with the coach saying, looking for help, assistance. We're sports fans. We're fans of the communities that we're in. We're accepting of everyone, and we just want to make sure we can lead by example and provide whatever is needed economically, emotionally, just being that mentor, somebody just to talk to as well. We're here for anything that's needed of us.
Okay. Now, my last question. From this company, Botanical Garden, you're coming to Augusta, this particular region. What other areas are you looking to target in the state of Georgia? There was a very interesting dynamics when I visited the facility back in, I got to meet a lot of the doctors, a lot of the, those people, and the presentation was just outstanding. Yeah, it really was. So what other areas are you targeting in in the state of Georgia, because when the legislature actually approved this, it opened up the window of opportunities for a company such as yours to come in to this market that has already been in other parts of the United States. So what other areas?
So as far as the areas right now, the locations we're vetting are ones that, one, have a high percent of patients that are in need to make sure we assure access to them. Two, having a city that we have a relationship with, mayor, commission, council, whoever it may be. And then also with that, you know, the locations that we currently are looking at or currently have, you know, we've got on the southeast part of the state, you know, in Pooler, just outside Savannah, Marietta locations, Augusta, Athens, you know, outside the city itself, you know, Stockbridge, and then also the approach too with the pharmacies, which was a great, you know, idea by the state of Georgia, because there's the way the state's designed and laid out, having the pharmacies is also a great avenue to ensure access to all patients in need. Last thing we need is somebody, you know, be driving 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours for something that, you know, can be life-saving for them. And so that's all the areas that we're currently looking in. And then obviously as the industry grows and evolves, then we'll be expanding and adding additional locations. But right now, we've got about 4 to 5 locations that are our primary focus. And then once we get those up and running, then we'll move on to phase 2 of additional locations.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just like to say for any of you that have heard this little short presentation, I implore you to look them up, Botanical Sciences, if you want to gain some additional information. I know this was very short, but they do have, you have an opportunity to do so. Again, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Madam Clerk?
Our next delegation, item E, Ms. Garion Henry, regarding a request for funding to improve living conditions for residents in the community of Magnolia Court Apartments, East Boundary.
Ms. Henry, are you here? Gary and Henry?
Okay.
Madam Clerk, let's continue.
All right. Our next delegation, F, Ms. Ellie Benson, local group lead relatives to Moms Demand Action Augusta Volunteers.
Ms. Ellie Benson, are you present? Last call for Ellie Benson. Let's continue, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Item G, Ms. Sharon Bush Ellison, regarding revocation of a business license as listed. Ms. Ellison.
Ms. Sharon Bush Ellison, are you present? Sharon Bush Ellison.
Okay.
Let's continue.
Okay. Our last delegation, Mr. Moses Todd, I Love Augusta, regarding a water park SPLOS 8 and future SPLOS 9 water park phase 2 funding.
Thank you. Mr. Todd, thank you for being here, sir. If you don't mind, for the record, please state your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Yes. Moses Todd, 2747 Deansbridge Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30906. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the 5 minutes. Can I also get those minutes that the other delegations gave you back?
Unfortunately not.
Just kidding. Mr. Mayor, as you know, the citizens of Augusta, the Augusta-Richmond County Commission in 2020 during COVID approved on the recommendation list for a referendum $5 million seed money for a water park for South Richmond County. And when I was pitching this, you know, there's others that's talked about water parks, the late Lee Beard, going back as far as the late Lee Beard, Commissioner Beard, and the late Andrew Jefferson. So sitting in a room, self-isolated for about 9 months, I started to talking to the commission by phone and email in reference to a water park for Augusta, Georgia. We by phone visited Cobb County, executive director of their recreation department, and we kind of modeled what we thought could happen in Augusta based on the Cobb County water park. Several years earlier, they did theirs for approximately $4.5 million. As you know, the commission did buy into it. Commissioner Sean Frannon was here at the time on the commission. Commissioner Brandon Garrett made the motion to approve the list of recommendations that was on the sales tax referendum, and it was seconded by Commissioner Mary Davis at the time, and it was passed 7-3. The citizens of Augusta, Georgia, when it went on the referendum, voted for the sales tax, special purpose local option sales tax referendum by 71%. So and this was in a special election, I believe, at that time. So this means that there was an interest in a water park being in Augusta, Richmond County. I know there was other projects on that list that helped sell it, but we feel that the water park, helped sell the passes of the sales tax. So in the discussion after the commission voted on it, the former administrator Odie Donnie made some comments in reference a 3P initiative as far as the water park go. And I applauded that. At that time, mostly I think the commission was meeting by Zoom. And my discussion with the former administrator was that his thoughts was that the water park would be better managed by a NGO or another entity other than county government, and I don't have a problem with that. I think that the ownership of the water park should always be Augusta, Richmond County, and I think Odie at the time also felt that there's possibility of participation by, as far as funding it by an outside entity or 3P partnership. The talk at the time that he would go out for a nationwide, a nationwide search for a 3P partner. We're a year and a half into the sales tax. So basically what I'd like to know, what I Love Augusta would like to know and the citizens would like to know is where are we on the priority list and, and moving forward. I think before we get to the 0.5% for the Coliseum Authority, we need to at least address this issue and have a plan. Mr. Mayor, as you know, the Splash in the Boroughs is successful. Some of the commissioners, I sent emails out. They're pulling in approximately $2 million a year and at least $500,000 a year profit. So a water park can be successful if it's managed right and it's planned right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Are there any questions from any of my colleagues on the commission? Administrator Dowse, if you could, can you at some point, not today, just give us an update on how those collections are going regarding the water park, so we could provide that information back to the general public.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Todd, thank you so much for being here, sir. We'll get you an answer on how those collections are going and provide you with an update. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, let's continue.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, it was in my remiss that of the project.
All right, we have one supporter.
One supporter.
Any other
Okay.
support? Well, wait a minute, we got more. All the supporters.
Will you please raise your hand? Okay.
All right.
All supporters.
All supporters.
5.
Five
Thank
supporters. All right.
Okay. Item number 5 is a request for rezoning from a Zone A agriculture.
Is a nomination to a board. The proper process for nomination to, not nomination,
proper process to approving a board appointment is to open the floor for a nomination. Nominations should be made on the record. Requests for any further nominations should be made. It should be voted on the record.
Exactly. So it can't
Nominations
be
cannot,
consented.
I should say, requests for approval cannot be done until the candidate.
Mr. Mayor, I was the first one in the queue.
I defer to you. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I was the first one you jumped all the way over to Guilford. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
According to my screen, Guilfoyle.
To the top.
All right, we're gonna go down to the bottom. Commissioner from the 5th, it is your floor, sir.
Lord have mercy.
I don't
You've
even see
already
him on there.
pulled 3, correct? Did they
Yes,
pull
sir.
3,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number, and I know these belong to the commission. Number 33, let's go to 34 with the library. I want to postpone the library to vote until the next commission meeting. Ms. Scott, are you going to do something with 33?
Yes, I'm here and call.
I hadn't called her yet. We're moving that way, sir.
Okay, if there is no objection, I'd like to take 34 and move it to the next commission meeting.
Are there any objectors?
That's what I tried to do during.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner from the 5th, you good?
Oh, I'm good.
Good. Chair recognizes the commissioner from the 9th.
Mr. Mayor and colleagues, I would like to pull number 3 and bring it back in the next full commission, I believe is June
Okay.
6th.
Which one was that again, Ms. Scott?
33.
33? You're asking that it be moved to the next commission meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Consent agenda, items 1 through 44, with the pulling of items number 3, number 8, number 33 is being referred to our next commission meeting, along with item number 34 to our next commission meeting. And items 46 and 47 as well deferred to the next commission meeting, with the addition of items number 48 to our consent agenda.
Was 45 discussed or not? I thought Commissioner Guilfoyle mentioned that
It
one.
wasn't, I didn't hear. Yeah.
I mean, if I would like to add it, but if we don't need to, that's fine. I mean, that's up to y'all. Yes, sir. Because the
number is that?
administrator will set the date or
Adding item 45 to the consent agenda?
legal. Sorry,
Number 45
you'll set the date.
Okay.
and 45.
Mr. Johnson? You're good? Thank you, sir. Mhm.
All right.
Okay, we have Mr. Franham and Ms. McKnight, I think were,
Yep. I have a motion, a second by Ms. McKnight. If
okay.
there are no further discussions, let's vote.
Before you post, let me ask him how he's voting before you post. Mr. Garrett is out? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Mason is out, Mr. Johnson.
Johnson's on
Mr.
phone.
Johnson, how are you voting, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, he's voting in the affirmative, so.
Okay.
So that motion carries 8 with Mr. Mason and Mr. Garrett out.
All right. right. We're getting ready to call, as soon as Madam Clerk gets ready, call agenda item 3. I just want to remind everybody that this is the People's House. We're going to be respectful here. No outbursts will be allowed. And let's be respectful for one another. Everybody will be given an opportunity to speak. But please, let's be respectful. Madam Clerk.
Are you asking for a spokesperson for?
What? The floor is yours.
Okay. Is there a spokesperson for item number 3, zoning matter? 5 minutes? You're going to share your 5 minutes? Okay.
Good afternoon, guys. If you will, for the record, please state your name and address. And once everybody's introduced themselves, I will give you guys 5 minutes. Or if you're going to break your time up, I'll make sure you get your 5 minutes.
How y'all doing? James Jeter, 4102 Elders Drive.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Erica George, 5328 Bull Street in Augusta.
All right.
Patricia Jeter, 4102 Elders Drive.
All right, guys, you have 5 minutes. Start now.
Okay, thank you, guys. We oppose the approval of the rezoning for the 4113C Elders from a R1C to a R1E. 4113C needs to remain R1C. Additional apartments, additional townhouses, 24 rentals are to be built on the 4113C Elders. And the previous developers was denied the ability to build on that partial as well. The 4113C clubhouse, small park for the elderberry community, and the wetlands and cited as reason, and also the attempt to build a road on the 4113C for office complex was denied due to the wetlands and GDOT. This land is considered dead land because of the water and the wetlands, vegetation, reasons for opposed. We asked the county to deny the petition. Also, we are also letting you guys know that they are trying to put 72 units on this one piece of property that is too many. It's if you look at 72 units for townhouses, that means that is 4 to 5 units per building. That means you're going to have to be able to get 72 houses into 4 or 5 buildings per unit. That means you're going to jam all of this into one little small area with that changing of zoning, which is going to consider a large amount of homes stuffed into this one small area. Not to mention that it's going to only have one way out of the townhouses onto the street, and it also is for Elderberry itself. We have almost 400 homes in this one area, and we only got one outlet to come out of this this neighborhood. We are only having this one exit, and then you're going to add another 72. Plus, we got apartments across the street, and we got business at the bottom of the hill. And we got an additional 50 townhouses that's already been built across on Madeline, which that's also indicating another part of the congestion. And we also noticed that they are saying that they got a study, but that was individually done by them and not by the county, as far as a traffic study. And the traffic study is not indicated here. We also have a problem with just us on an everyday basis trying to get in and out of Elderberry. And now we're going to put this at the bottom of the hill, and that's going to create even more of a problem. And then if you want to go across the street, that's causing more congestion. We have the new Kroger coming, and we also have a school there. And the school is already, we're already having enough problems trying to get to the school as it is.
How you doing? Good afternoon. Again, I just want to piggyback off what Mr. Jeter said. The growth pattern doesn't match the current infrastructure. No typology or lay of the land study was performed. Elderberry is actually a rolling hill community. So when it rains, the water rains down into the wetlands absorbs the rain, and so does the detention pond. So therefore, even if you build concrete structures without green space, it's still going to have a problem with water. I spoke personally with the previous owner of that land. He was denied a petition to be able to build on parcel 4113C. He confirmed to me that that was actually considered dead land space. This amount of units coming out onto Harper Franklin is going to bottleneck Harper Franklin, and it's going to actually have Elderberry residents stuck in transit with their only ingress and egress out. Also, if you build this amount of units on right adjacent to Elderberry, in the event of emergency, you're going to be faced with trying to get out, such as a flood emergency. The people in the back of the property will not be able to get out, so they will be at risk for that. Also, a full traffic study was not performed. The traffic impact study was performed by Mr. Ushery, but it was based on the information that was provided from the developer, and it was based on the 24 additional units that he's adding. He's actually approved for 48 units, 24 additional units are added. That makes 72 units. So it's a Fort Knox they're trying to build on top of Elderberry. And another, last but not least, the wetlands, they want to build and encroach in on the wetlands. The wetlands actually protect our community from flooding. They provide drinking water to the flowing wells on Wrightsboro Road. They also prevent storms and flooding. And the crime will be increased. When you have this many units, you don't know who's living in these units, and they can actually come over to our community. We won't know who it is coming over there because he's building some type of corporate structures, which their length of stay can be anywhere from 1 week to whatever. They can come in and out like a hotel.
Right.
So that's my.
Ma'am, you have 30 seconds.
Last but not least, I'd like for you to take into account the stakeholders here of Elderberry subdivision. I am one. My home was bought at $350,000. The average cost of home in the Elderberry subdivision is $275K. On my street, which is Bull Street, at the bottom, which they refer to, there are 52, give or take, homes. That equals out to about $14,850,000 worth of real estate just in my street alone. We are here as a small delegation, but we represent many. I ask you to vote no. We do not want additional units. He has already been approved for some units. We ask that you do not grant the additional units on that property.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vote no, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, I think there were some folks in support of. Is anybody in support would like to come up and say any comments?
Hang on now. If they're the developers, they don't.
All right.
Well, she wants to come, but if they're the developers, we need to talk to them separately.
All right. So, developers, if you would give us a minute, we're going to give this young lady an opportunity to speak in support. Ma'am?
So I know this may be.
Ma'am, if you will, for the record, state your name and address.
Braswell, 5117 Devon Lane.
You have 5 minutes.
I know that this is an unpopular statement. However, following this thing here, this man, these people, whomever, had already been approved to put 180 or 160 apartments out there. He'd been approved for years. Okay, I too was against all of this. But when I took and I did the time and I did the research to do the math versus the 72 versus the 180 we're coming out a whole lot better with the 72. When you do 4 times 180, do the math. That's how many people we're looking at 180 apartments. All we're getting out there is apartments. There are 200 apartments across the street, 200 apartments behind us. Now another 200 apartments. You can't stop the man for something that he already has that's worse than what he wants to do now. That's my only thing. I would take the 72 of whatever the townhouses plus the 20 apartments versus an additional 180 apartments. I don't know nothing about that wetland and all that kind of stuff. That's for everybody else to figure out. I'm counting bodies and numbers. Yes, we're crowded out there. Yes, we have a school out there. Yes, we have a Kroger out there. But I want to know, in all the years of me coming down here on this commission, when did you all care enough to ask us from the beginning what we wanted anywhere? Anywhere. And that goes back to some of the commissioners who are not there. Apartments were being put up out there. Y'all didn't notify Elderberry then. The liquor store went out there. Y'all didn't notify Elderberry then. The school went out there. Y'all didn't notify Elderberry then. Y'all didn't notify anybody from out there except for your 1 or your 2 people that you were in contact with. Now, this is a great issue. Y'all didn't tell us that y'all already approved him to do 180 or 160 or whatever the number is. Y'all didn't tell us that when y'all allowed that subdivision to be built, that they weren't going to get a separate interest. You all are killing the people of Elderberry because you make a decision to do something without confronting the people before it's time to do it. Wayne, you've been sitting here a long time and you know how it go. Catherine, I watched your father sit there and make some decisions for District 3 and didn't confront District 3, and Mary Davis and a whole lot of people. Grady was one of the greatest commissioners out here, and he did care about what the people thought. But in time, when things were done out there, he did not communicate with the people out there. And all I'm saying to you all, and you all, do the numbers. If we don't give this man what he's out here for, he's going to be able to put 180 apartments that under no circumstances, I don't care if y'all got 1 million people, you can't stop that 180. But you can cut the numbers down by the 72. Think about it. That's all I got to say. And I don't even know you and probably don't like you, but at the end of the day.
Hey. We can't say that.
At the end of the day, the people are
Madam.
screaming for another exit,
All right.
another entrance. Try and make that happen. Figure it out.
Ms. Braswell, thank you so much. All right. If it's okay, I see some folks in the queue. Can we let the developers say a few words before we go through the queues? That good with you guys?
That's good.
All right, guys, if you will, for the record, please state your name and address, and you're going to have 5 minutes.
Robert Titus with EMC Engineering, 24 Columbia Road, Martinez, Georgia. Do I put this under here?
Natasha, can he use your help? Thank you.
I'm the engineer of record for Mr. Eschelbach. So I'm going to address the technical aspects and some of the things that Ms. Jeter said.
Okay.
Back to the last lady, so nicely. The first phase of this, and you can kind of see up on your screen, the first phase is Zone B2. So he can build apartments on that. We've been to 2 or 3 public hearings, public information meetings with the community. So he backed off and went with townhomes on phase 1. Phase 2 is zoned R1C. Originally, the request was to put apartments on this to try to make the numbers work. After a lot of concern, and then the Planning Commission recommended or said that they would be willing to go with townhomes on this piece. So we backed off on that. One of the concerns was the wetlands. The wetlands are protected. They are, Corps of Engineers has jurisdiction over those wetlands. We can't do anything to those wetlands without permitting from the Corps of Engineers. So those wetlands are protected, and that's the hatched area that looks like grass that kind of surrounds that. So the land is not dead. There are uplands that are available. So any permitting that we would need to build this, we would go through the Corps of Engineers. It's a very strict nationwide permit process. So we would follow that avenue. As far as the number of entrances, fire code and the Richmond County's city planning states that up to 100 units, you only need one exit. We have, in those public information meetings, there was a lot of concern about traffic, a lot about connecting to Elders Drive. Can we slide that down just a touch? It's too big. Let's just put this. That's close enough. So the property does have frontage on Elders Drive. The developers was willing to give them the property that abuts Elders Drive as a concession, just to show that there is no plan to connect to Elders Drive. So that's with regard to the traffic. It's true, we did submit a traffic impact study to the city traffic engineer that he agreed with. Those projections come from the International Traffic Engineers Council. It's the IT trip generation manual that's used by everybody. And again, we didn't trip thresholds that would require a second exit or left turn lane, but we are adding a right turn lane during phase one. As far as stormwater management goes, you're talking about topography. I'm not sure what topography study was done, but Eldersbury subdivision is a good 30 to 40 feet higher than these elevations. Water does run off downhill. It will go into the wetlands and continue downstream. As far as stormwater quality goes, Augusta Richmond County has an MS4 permit that requires post-construction stormwater quality measures to meet those. So any permitting that we get, we have to go through Augusta Richmond County. So we would have to comply with the stormwater quality. As far as flooding goes, that's a non-issue. I'm not sure about that at all. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Esserbach, who's the...
All right, sir. You got a minute and a half.
Matt Eshelbach, 5235 Riverwood Parkway, Evans, Georgia. So I just want to combat a couple things here. As far as like this short-term rentals, I have no plans on doing like daily or weekly rentals or anything like that. We did an independent study, market research, third-party research, where we conducted research on what the community needs. When you have a sizable investment like this, we kind of look at all the different things that the community needs, where there's, really a one-bedroom was something that is highly desired in this area. Going to cater to the military more than anything on this. And just to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at doing here, you can see that. These are, here's this one and this one. This is what I was planning to put on here, and this would be a continuous development of phase one and phase two all the way through. Very nice, and these townhomes right here are going to be, they're going to be finished very nicely. My projections right now are going to be between, depending on like some of the 2 and 3 bedroom units, the ones that have single car garages versus the 2 car garages, those will range between $250,000 and $300,000 in value per unit. So as far as like, decreasing the values out there, I don't think that that's the case. And then, but the other option here, since I've agreed to just do all townhomes and negate the whole apartment deal, this would be the other option that I have, which would be to go to phase one and go back to basically make the unit smaller, put single car garages on the bottom, and get my density up on phase one to do apartments to get the same density I'm going to have with the back section. So that's my other option. If you guys turn me down today, that's fine. But I'm going to have to change the look to something like this, and I don't want to do that. The values here are going to be considerably less than what the others are. So I would just like you to consider that.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Brown, you mentioned that we need to get our engineering staff.
Yes, sir, that's a normal procedure.
Thank you.
Not
Director
engineering
Delaney.
staff, the planning staff.
Planning staff. Director Delaney. Would you please come?
Good afternoon. In regards to zoning case 23-12, the Harper Franklin Group came to the Planning Commission requesting rezoning to B2 to allow for them to construct 5 townhomes and a 29-unit apartment complex. That was the original request. Through conversation and discussion at the staff level with the developer, we worked through and came back with the alternative recommendation, which is before you now, and the Planning Commission also has this recommendation that instead of an apartment complex, that they go back with 24 units and we rezone to something less intense. B2 is the most intense that you can have outside of industrial. So it's one level below industrial, what they were asking for. What we have negotiated and worked through with the developer is for them to come back and do something that's the townhome community. So right now, as it was stated, Cypress 1, which is their first phase, which is the access directly off of Harper Franklin, that property is 7 acres and it's zone B2. B2, again, is the most commercial you can get without industrial. So we thought that this would be a palatable alternative than having that B2 7 acres developed in a full commercial capacity immediately adjacent to these residences. So the recommendation of the Planning Commission and staff and the developer agreed to is that they would continue the Cypress Crossing Phase 1 design and concept into Phase 2, which is the 2-story that they showed you, not the 3-story. That they would do all the required parking. They would be consistent with the engineered site plans, the wetlands and everything like that. They've already explained they are reviewed at the state level and at the local level. All of our traffic plans, because they range anywhere from 12,000 up to 50,000, that is a cost that the developer incurs, and they are responsible for providing it. We have a rubric in which engineering uses to determine if what they've put forth is truthful. So there's no issue. We have vetted that. So with that being said, the Planning Commission has looked at this and they recommend that they be rezoned to R1E with 24 townhomes consistent with the Cypress Crossing Phase 1. I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Director Delaney. The chair recognizes the Commissioner from the 5th.
Director Laney,
Yes, sir.
why do they keep saying 72 then, if you're saying 24?
If you add Phase 1 and Phase 2 together. So Phase 1, which is Cypress Crossing, has 41, 42 units in it. And then if you add these 24, then you'll get up, that's how you get there. So they're adding the phases together.
Okay, and all these people who live in these places, they'll have to matriculate on Harper Franklin Avenue. Is that true?
Yes, that is the existing. The requirement for subdivisions is that the new developments access through an existing public road. Harper Franklin is considered an existing public right of way.
And I think their biggest worry, and I worry about it too, is that you only have one road that goes in, one road that comes out, and you know I've seen it. You know when people are going to Fort Gordon, people are going to the school over there, and people trying to get out of the Zaxby's area all at the same time, which is going to really create some problems. I think, and I spoke to the developer sometime back, or what have you, along with the residents, and the one thing they kept asking them is, you know, can you develop a situation where we can have another road out of here? And, you know, my thinking is that really and truly until we get them some type of relief, and we've told them over and over, and they go back and forth to beat me up and all this kind of stuff, but the city's not going to build that road, so it has to be something that comes from a developer. And for that reason, that's why, you know, I'm against it, due to the fact that you're trying to, you know, put some apartments in a very small area. I understand that they own the land and they want to develop the land, but at the same time, you have a lot of people over there already who live over there, and they're saying, look, we're being squeezed out, we're being run over, the road is not sufficient, and we need more help over here. My understanding, was this thing on how many times was it pulled off the planning agenda? About 3 or 4 times?
I would say probably two or 3 times.
Well, 2, 3, 4, because they knew there was a problem with what they were proposing. And I would imagine, I'm just being straight with everybody, and that's the only way I know how to be. I imagine they probably called some people and talked with some people to try to, get them to, vote in the positive to get this thing going. But my thing is, until we get them some relief on Harper Franklin Avenue, until we get a situation where, another road's going somewhere, then building in that situation, and I understand, when people start talking about apartments and townhomes and what have you, and they have homes that they paid a lot of money for, that they don't want to go down, and not just go down in value, but the value of the land that where they live is still, something that is something to be proud of. And so, I say this to the developers at the same time, that my heart goes out to you. My heart is on Harper Franklin Avenue during the rush hour, during the time when people are trying to get to Fort Gordon, and people are trying the elementary school, and people are trying to get home, and people are trying to go down, I think that's Jimmy Dyes Parkway, I'm getting old, but people are it is all in congestion. And to add more in this area is going to congest it even more. In the queue, but I want to make a motion to not approve.
I'll second that.
All right.
I'll second it.
Commissioner, I think Commissioner Scott, Commissioner McKnight, who chimed in first?
I definitely am seconding that, and I was going to say something, but I'll wait until my turn.
Wait. All right. So, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Scott. I'm going to go through this.
Which is going to generate 720 people based at 4 per unit. So we got 3 choices. The best area in Augusta, Richmond County that promotes growth. Y'all hit it in the right time in the market to buy your houses. I'm sorry, ma'am, but because the majority of the residents works at Fort Gordon. Think about it. What you going to do when the other property sold next to you is going to become a moot issue coming before this body, where developers coming in that's buying the land, where if we want to control other people's land, we need to buy it to keep that from. How many people wants 288? I mean,
we can't have dialogue from the floor.
That's right.
All
Sorry,
right?
Mayor.
All right.
But we're trying to put provisions in place. He's going to come right back to us. The land ain't going nowhere. The developer ain't going nowhere, and unless he could sell the land. Then you got another developer that's going to come in play.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question's for Ms. Delaney, Director Delaney. It's obviously going to fail today. I'm pretty confident of that with the people that are coming back before this body for that piece of property.
With the current zoning on this property, he could, let me turn to the right page here. I want to make sure I say it. Zoning is going to allow for single family and duplexes. The challenge you face is that access comes through B2. B2 is 7 acres of B2. Everything in the zoning ordinance, that's B2. It would not come back before commission if he is consistent with the zoning ordinance and B2. What would come back before you is if there was a special exception. It's the one that provides the access. If this portion fails, they have that option to exercise by right their B2 zoning and put commercial on about 7 acres right there. Uses within the zoning ordinance.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much. All right, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second to deny.
Sir.
If there's no further discussions, we're ready to vote.
Mm-hmm. You wanting to clear hers? You can change it. Okay, you can go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm stuck on green. Wait a minute, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm reading it.
And I think we still have the commissioner from the first on the phone.
Let me see.
The commissioner from the
Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Johnson. Okay, are you voting on this petition? Is the to deny? Yes, sir.
I vote to deny.
Yeah, thank you. With Commissioner Johnson voting yes, that will be a 7-1 vote to deny.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Guys, thank y'all for being.
Just for the record, Mr. Mason's out and Mr. Garrett out and Mr. Guilfoyle voting no.
All right. Thank y'all for being here today. This is our democracy at work. You guys have a great day. We're going to give you a few minutes to clear out, okay? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. They don't. That's right.
Almost. All right. Please keep moving. Got one agenda item left. All right, Madam Clerk, how much more business we got? We only got one more item, right? One or two? All right, we're going back to order here. Sir? We're going back to order. Madam Clerk, let's proceed.
Item number 8. Item number 8 is a request to amend the condition adopted with the rezoning application Z2238 for a zone R1E1 family residential to a zone R1E1 family residential affecting property at 2427 Boykin Road.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I recall we had one objector to this.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you will. Come to a podium, if you will. For the record, please state your name, your address. Oh, he's a developer. Okay. All right, sir, if you will. Name, address, and you're going to have 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Bobby Bagwell, 6566 Reservoir Road, Appling, Georgia.
Got it. All right. Sure, you have 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here today to clarify my request for my project. This is a project that is actually entitled as is for 53 units. This is not a rezoning request. This is what I'm going to state is almost a variance to the conditions that this project inherited, which was a 25-foot wide minimum townhome width. Worked with our engineers, we came up with a more efficient plan incorporating 22-foot wide units on the interior units of the buildings. The end units are still 27-foot wide. So we were asking for basically a change in that minimum width requirement. I want the council commission to note, I had another project about 3/4 mile down from here that was recently approved for 30 units at 22 foot. I don't know if y'all recall that. I was just here. We had that discussion. And the issue at that point in time was the Augusta Utility Department had concerns over utility conflicts with driveways. And so we worked through that, came up with with some language to address that, and I'm more than willing to adopt that to this same zoning condition for this project with the approval of the 22-foot wide units. Just want to share some factual information on this project. With the change to the 22-foot wide units, it's a net increase of 7 units. I go from 53 units to 60 units. With an overall net density that goes from 6.1 units an acre to 6.9 units an acre. I would also like to note that the infrastructure, the parking, the amenity package, none of that changed. It simply is a more efficient use of the building footprints for those townhome units. So with all that being said, be glad to answer any questions. But again, I'm asking to change the interior units to 22-foot wide, not the 25-foot wide requirement per the current conditions.
Thank you so much. I think we need to get Director Delaney up here again. Is that okay with you, Commissioner, before we go through the queue?
I
Or
would,
do you
I would
have a
like to
question?
ask Mr. Bagwell.
Bagwell question?
Yes, sir.
All right, go right ahead. Chair recognizes Commissioner from the 10.
Mr. Bagwell, you was here before us about a month and a half ago.
Yes, sir.
For basically the same thing. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And did we deny it or support it?
You supported it on my last project request.
Okay, what's changed from the last time to this time?
Nothing really. It's a different project, but same zoning, same type unit. And again, we created that language condition to address the Augusta utility concerns. I'm simply asking to duplicate that for this project.
Motion to approve, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion. Is there a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. Before we vote, we got to have Director Delaney speak on behalf of the city, please. No, we don't? We don't need her? All right. All right, let's vote. Without discussion, Madam Clerk, we're voting.
And before Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
You're voting, the motion for item number 8 is to approve.
Yes.
Chair recognizes Attorney Brown.
Is it the intention of the maker of the motion to approve the project or to approve the denial from below?
All right.
Motion to approve the project, Mr. Attorney.
All right. So was that understood? Yes. With everyone? Okay. Well, go ahead and change your vote. We haven't published it yet.
All right, so we're voting.
Commissioner Johnson, you're voting? To approve. And sir, for the record, could you please state that you are out of Richmond County?
I am out of Richmond County for those wondering. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bonner.
Okay. We'll publish the vote. Yes. Go. Everybody's ready? Voting? Okay.
We're voting,
Be
yes, ma'am.
published. Commissioner Johnson is voting in the affirmative. That motion carries 7-1 with Ms. McKnight voting no.
All right. Madam Clerk, is there anything further?
No, sir, I believe that's it.
All right, that's it. Thank you guys for being here today. This meeting is now adjourned.
45. It was to consent. Well, he told me to pick it. He motioned me to do it.